What's going on, guys? It's Colin here for NextGenTactics, and this is the third and final installment of my Rush Playbook series for Arica Harbor. And in this video, we're going to cover bases 4 and 5. So why don't we get right into the playbook here for base 4. And here you can see the objectives, Alpha and Bravo. And they're kind of lined up in a linear fashion. Alpha's in a train car, Bravo is in a building. Neither are indestructible environments, so you really have to be careful. And, you know, you're going to have to take these down legit. And the threats that you have to be aware of are the heavy MG and the launcher on the right, and the enemies can spawn anywhere in the back red rectangle behind the Bravo objective. So what I like to do is establish a number of different control points based on the positioning of the defense, and here you can see they're marked in green. Now, the first one to pay attention to is on the front left. That's a building you can get to quite easily to rendezvous with your squad, and then from there, you want to try and control the left yard full of shipping containers, and that's a good place to basically hide out and build a presence up. And then there's also a back building in behind the Bravo objective that we like to take. Now, I typically will favor the left-hand side here, and in doing so, what normally happens is the defense will start to pull left, and your random teammates, or even a couple of your other squad mates, can either push up slightly to the right or right over the bridge. But I find that, you know, there's not a whole lot of cover way out to the right, so I tend to try and hug either the right-hand side of the bridge, but, you know, 9 times out of 10, I'm going to try and make a push up the left-hand side. So why don't we get right to it? And first, I'm going to show you a fairly easy attack on the Alpha objective because the defenders had pushed forward up the bridge to try and cut us off. They didn't cover the left-hand flank, and I was able to circle around and get the Alpha objective fairly easily. And, you know, this base is really all about reading the defense and how they're positioned, and because I knew that a bunch of them had run across the bridge, well, there's no sense in trying to set up any fancy flanking maneuvers. I realized that my squad's pushed beyond me, and they're going to focus on Bravo, so I'm just going to kind of carefully swing right around and in the back entrance to Alpha and shoot a couple of guys in the back who are quite rightly watching the objective, but they weren't watching their back, and I'm able to just hop in here without too much fanfare and take this down. And just hop behind the crate, reload, drop an ammo crate, I've cut that out, and then I just defend the arm crate from inside the train car. Because, you know, when the wall hasn't been blown out, the position I'm in right now, it isn't bad. Now, a smart defense will blow the heck out of this this container so that they can see what you're doing, but these guys didn't do that, so I was able to kind of sneak in and maintain my position, get a nice little double there, and take down Alpha. My team at Arm Bravo, and we took it down also. So now I'm going to show you the swimming route that I like to use sometimes to kind of try and get behind the defense. And what you want to do is just hug this wall on the left-hand side, and you pay attention on the mini-map. You're going to swim until it almost looks like you're out of area, although you're not, and you go up the very last ladder that you can get to before you're out of bounds, which is this one right here. And once I get to the top of the ladder, I'm going to be looking directly at the building that I want to take control of. Now, I opt to shoot this sniper. I probably shouldn't have done that. I should have maintained my stealth and tried to sneak up and maybe knife them. And so as a result, I do get killed before I get to the building, but a squad mate spawns on me, and we're actually able to eventually take control of that building. So we'll see that position a little bit later on, but here is just another approach on the left-hand side. I'm running the UMP. Here I see there's 2 defenders heading across the bridge. I'm going to chuck a nade, but not going to pay a whole lot of attention to them at this point. And I'm just going to try and slowly weave my way through the area, try and pick off any defenders who are lingering in this container yard, get a recon. And what you want to do is basically just lock this part down, and that gives you a really good angle to go in and get Bravo. Now, I find that taking Bravo first is probably the better approach here, but you know, it's not bad either way. Sometimes you can get that rush on Alpha, and Alpha is one where, you know, if you've pulled the defenders towards the back of their base, then oftentimes your random teammates will push up and arm the Alpha objective, so you don't have to worry about it as much. And, you know, right here, I'm just kind of lurking in containers and trying to stay concealed, and I notice once again that somebody's posted up on this roof, which is not a bad, you know, you have good visibility into the Bravo objective, but you are kind of exposed, and I don't know why I was running a tracer dart there, so I whip out the Gustav and finish off that sniper, and then I get taken down. But then I'm going to switch it up to a better kit. I'm going to run smoke launcher lightweight pack on an M416, and here you can see now we're taking control of this building that I talked about earlier, and I'm going to go upstairs and get eyes on Bravo as we try and arm it. And unfortunately, I get overwhelmed by defenders, so I'm not able to defend this successfully until it goes off. There you can see they're they're piling in, and I pick off a few of them, but when I pause to reload, they actually managed to get in and disarm this. So I think that's like 6 of them, so like half their team all rushed the Bravo objective, so good on them. Then I start getting hit from the side, and I'm going to drop down. So after that happens, I'm going to spawn back in on my teammates who have now pushed up in behind the objective, and we're able to basically keep the defenders suppressed, and the crate goes off, and we take down this 4th base. So anyway, guys, you know, as I said, there's a bunch of different routes you can use. I prefer to stay away from the right-hand side, although if you use enough smoke cover, then you can successfully move up the right. Just that's not what I typically do. But if what you're trying to do isn't working, then occasionally you have to mix it up. So there we take down Bravo, and it's time to start looking at the 5th and final base. Now, this can be a pretty tough one. There's a lot of open sight lines in making your approach, and both of the objectives are stacked inside sort of the 3-story construction building towards the back left. So it's really important that you maintain a presence in the base, because you're going to have to clear the defenders out of the building and then keep them out of there in order to take down these objectives. So I'm going to show you how I like to try and do that, and there's 3 basic approaches that I'll use. One is to slowly and carefully move my way right up the middle and go in the front door. The other is to take a quick swim down the left-hand side and then pop up and then push forward and cut off the defenders. And then the third is to move all the way back in around and take control of the 2-story barracks building directly behind the objective building. And unless I'm running a shotgun, I don't try normally to go into the building, clear it out, and arm the objectives. I'll try and sort of play the cutoff man, and one of my squad mates who has a shotgun will go into the building. So let's look at this play out. And the first approach we're going to take here is sort of the more slow and steady tactical approach right up the middle with smoke. And the intent of this is to basically free up our squad so they can get to the front of the building, kind of go in the front door if it's been blown open. And typically we'll have an engineer with us who will fire an RPG. And I should also note that on the map, the playbook up on the left-hand side, I've got some control points marked. One is just out in front of the construction building. I also have the warehouse on the right marked, and that's something that a lot of teams like to sort of hole up in and try and launch an attack, but it's really easy to pin you down in there. So I try and stay away from it. If I'm going to go over on the right-hand side, I want to get all the way in behind the objectives. So, you know, right here I am just kind of moving slowly from cover to cover, using the shipping containers and laying down smoke whenever appropriate. And I'm just kind of making sure the area is clear, and then I'm going to push up beyond the building and try and cut off the defenders. Now, unfortunately, I don't get into position, and I do get taken down, but you kind of see the basic idea of this attack, that my squad's gone into the building, and now, you know, I could hang right and go in there as well and help them, but what I'm going to try and do is move up here and cut them off. Unfortunately, I get taken out in trying to do so. I ran into 2 of them, so that was unfortunate. And when that happens, you know, there's another approach you can take up this left-hand side, and what I'm going to do is hop in the water and go for a little swim. Now, you can't get as far down as, say, on the 4th base, but you can get into a decent position in order to attack from the left-hand side. And, you know, you can be seen, so defenders can push to the right-hand side of their spawn, and they can look down this sight line. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. So, you know, yeah, give it a shot, and if it doesn't work out, then you're going to have to try a different approach, because they will just camp this sight line if they notice that several of you are swimming it. But here I'm on a squad mate, I'm on Jay Kaiser, and we're going to go to the top of the ladder and just move up the left-hand side and take control. So it is important to try and move with a squad. You know, you don't want to make any aggressive moves either if anyone's down. So you want to make sure you have full support. If you're the last man standing, then, you know, don't make any moves. And here you can see now I get into my cutoff position, and we're able to actually take this thing down. So I'm going to hop into the building and try and support the armed charges. Now, when you take control of the building itself, you can stay on the first 2 floors where the objectives are, but what I like to do is try and set up a spawn point on the actual 3rd floor, which is, I find a little bit better. You know, there's not near, obviously, you know, you're not right on the objectives, so you can't defend it as well, but also, you know, you're not seen up there, so in the event that the rest of your squad gets dropped, you still have a spawn point right above the objective. So this is a pretty powerful position to hold here, and right now we've taken down Bravo, and I think Alpha's going to go by the wayside as well. Right here, there was a sniper. He must have been up on top of the roof and dropped down, but I get him, and both the objectives go down. So, last but not least, I'm going to show you my favorite route on this map, and that is sort of a right-hand flanking route to get all the way in behind the defenders and basically just cut them off so that they can't get into the building. So, you're kind of relying on your team to kill them and push them back out of the building, but once they're pushed back, you can get into this position, and it's pretty nice in order to keep cutting them off so they can't get back in and reinforce the building. So I just cut through this fence and hop behind the green shipping container. You are going to go out of area for a couple of seconds, but don't panic. You know, you have plenty of time to get back in area. I'm going to pick off this medic. Didn't necessarily have to do that, but I did. And I'm going to take control of this back building. So you can see that control point. It's a green rectangle on the mini-map, and from here, you can look at the building. I wish I had an explosive to try and clear out some of these walls, but this also makes for an excellent spawn point for your squad. So I'm just going to sit here, and as you can see, I can see the defenders trying to get into the building. I'm going to pick off a handful of them, and you can actually go look out the back window and cut them off as they come out of spawn. You know, this is a really great vantage point, a really great spawn point to have. So you can get here quite often. I would say probably at least 75% of the time you can make this move and take this building down. Now, a smart defensive team is, you know, you're not going to be able to stay here for long. They're going to hit you with 40 mil grenades, whatever. But right there, you see I did a pretty good job of cutting them off, so we were able to take it down. But anyway, leave a like if you want to see more of this type of video, and maybe leave a comment as well as to sort of the maps you'd like to see. Cheers, guys. Hope you enjoyed, and we'll talk soon.
Hey guys, we now have our own website. Actually, we've always had our own website, but why not follow us on there? There you'll find all our videos conveniently sorted into playlists by game, as well as videos from many other directors that are part of our NGT network.